Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Court documents sealed until a verdict is reached. A guilty plea is entered for the cases are dismissed. That's the latest surrounding the disappearance and murder of Savannah Greywind.
And a normal avenue we pursue that's also open to the public is being closed off as the court seeks to keep details quiet. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric has been asking the state's attorney's office what are they keeping secret from the public. Bradford?
Mike, Andrea, we keep asking investigators what did they find, where did they find it, and how was Savannah Greywind murdered? One way we often follow up on investigations for you is through the court, specifically the search warrants. This is a picture taken this morning of the list of search warrants filed in connection with the murder. There are 10 warrants, again, normally publicly available documents that cannot be opened. Filed with those warrants, half a dozen court motions and orders to seal them up. The court lists 4 reasons for keeping the details secret. Both Brooke Cruz and William Hain face conspiracy to commit murder charges, among others. The court says if these warrants are made public, it risks undermining Cruz and Hain's right to a fair trial. They say there's no remedy short of sealing them to protect the details prior to any trial. And lastly, there's no other alternative to closing the records. I called the Cass County State's Attorney's office, asking why they felt this was needed, and if they are so concerned about publicity leading to a jury bias, why couldn't they simply move the case to some other county? I have yet to hear back. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Brad. The funeral for Savannah Greywind is scheduled for Thursday morning at First Assembly Church in Fargo.
A teenager who's been missing for almost a month is now safe after finally being found. The Alexandria Police Department says 15-year-old Jasmine Ann Block was found today in rural Grant County. She was first reported missing on August 9th. Block is now being treated for minor injuries at the Douglas County Hospital and has been reunited with her family. Last Friday, the reward for information leading to the return of Block grew to $7,000 after an anonymous donor chipped in $5,000, hoping for her safe return.
A Fargo man convicted of brutally killing 2 people will be locked up for the rest of his life. A judge in Fargo has sentenced Ashley Hunter to 2 life terms in prison with no chance for parole.
Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood joins us in studio after an emotional day in the courtroom. Christine?
Mike, Andrea, back in June, a jury found Ashley Hunter guilty of murdering Clarence Flowers and Samuel Trout. Flowers was stabbed more than 70 times. Trout was beaten to death with a hammer. Today in court, investigators and friends of Hunter's victims filled the courtroom to learn of Hunter's fate. Before Hunter was sentenced, family members of the murdered men explained what they've gone through, adding that they too are Ashley Hunter's victims. Here's what Samuel's sister, Sally, had to say.
One cannot begin to count the number of living victims that face this tragedy on a daily basis. A city who never has the engineering abilities of a dedicated employee again. An engineering firm full of co-workers who never has those pranks played again. A church full of college students who is missing a Bible study leader. A religious education class that never has their teacher again. A house full of roommates who never has their friend again. And a family who can never embrace their loved one again.
Hunter apologized to the families and said they will be in his thoughts and prayers as long as he lives. Mike, Andrea?
All right, thank you, Christine. Defense attorneys also asked the judge for a chance for parole because the crimes were committed in what is being called a drug-induced rage.
The Wadena County Sheriff's Office is warning people to be on the lookout for a sex offender after he failed to register as a predatory offender and had sexually related online conversations with young girls. Timothy George Bunkert also tried to meet up with one of the girls that he was talking to online, none of which knew who he was. He was last registered living in Sebeka, Minnesota. Anyone with information on Bunkert's whereabouts is asked to contact the Wadena County Sheriff's Office using the phone number at the bottom of your screen.
A fight may have led to an NDSU student from Brainerd being hospitalized here in Fargo with severe injuries. The victim told officers he was near the park behind the Tea Lofts by NDSU when he saw 2 men who he believed were responsible for an assault the night before. Police say 3 suspects have been interviewed and the investigations unit is following up. Fargo police anticipate sending the case to the Cass County State's Attorney's Office to press charges soon. Authorities are not releasing the name of the victim. A YouCaring.com crowdfunding describes a man named Isaiah Smith who was outnumbered and brutally beat up in Fargo, but it's not clear at this point if the case reported by Fargo police is the same incident.
We now know the name of the man arrested today following a double stabbing yesterday in Grand Forks. Jordan Parisian was arrested this morning south of the Ralph on UND's campus. Police aren't connecting him to the stabbing right now. However, he does fit the description from a victim. Parisian is being held for burglary and criminal trespass. Police say he was seen trying to break into the same apartment where the stabbing took place yesterday.
People should always be cautious. Because an incident occurred yesterday doesn't mean that they should be more cautious or less cautious. I think people just really need to pay attention to their surroundings.
Police are still advising people to lock their doors and call if they see suspicious activity.
A Minnesota man is in jail after being accused of abducting his ex-girlfriend on Friday. The Beltrami County Sheriff's Office was told that the man, Joshua Smith of Black Duck, Minnesota, had taken the woman against her will and was holding her at a residence in Hornet Township, northeast of Bemidji. When deputies got there, they saw the woman walking away from the building and searched the house after getting a warrant. They found Smith inside and arrested him. He's currently in the Beltrami County Detention Center pending formal charges.
3 North Dakota medical professionals have been accused of stealing drugs from patients in hospice. The nurses, who are all from Minot, were arrested for felony theft of property. Court documents claim that the 3 were stealing from the Trinity Hospital's home health and hospice program for almost 2 years. 2 of those nurses are also facing charges of endangering a vulnerable adult after allegedly thinning out patients' drugs or not giving them strong enough medicine to manage pain.
New numbers released from the North Dakota Highway Patrol show an increase in deaths on roads throughout the state. So far this year, 84 people have been killed in crashes compared to 73 people who lost their lives by this time last year. The Highway Patrol also says that the number of people killed while not wearing a seatbelt has gone up 25%. Today, law enforcement agencies across the state are stepping up their enforcement of distracted driving laws as part of a month-long crackdown.
Cooler temps and breezy today. It certainly felt like fall. Let's find out what Hutch knows about tonight's weather. Hutch?
Well, if you have evening plans, the good news is the wind should be tapering off and we may see a little bit of sunshine to close out the day, particularly in our western counties. We have temperatures slipping already into the 50s in Bemidji, and we're back into the mid-60s here in Fargo and in eastern portions of North Dakota. Temperatures slipping into the 40s by bedtime tonight. Northwest wind decreases under clear skies. That sets the stage for, we have to say it, frost for some. I'll have details on where on that, and we'll tell you about a warm-up here in just a couple of moments.
Okay, as long as there's a warm-up.
There is.
Thanks.
For the second time in less than 2 months, a muskie has attacked someone on the same northern Minnesota lake. 22-year-old Paige Doherty's foot was bitten Sunday afternoon on Island Lake while she was dangling her feet in the water. Doherty's mother, Wendy Halderson, says everyone looked over and saw a big muskie's mouth coming out of the water. Her daughter's injuries were not serious. The family says the fish was about 40 inches long. In July, a 10-year-old girl was bitten on Island Lake, also presumably by a muskie, and had to get 25 stitches.
North Dakota is gearing up for a visit from President Trump tomorrow. Donald Trump is scheduled to speak at an oil refinery in Mandan sometime after 3 in the afternoon. We're told that the president will be focusing on tax reform in the speech. Valley News Live will be there to cover the event live. We'll be streaming the event and also bringing you the president's comments live.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, the story of one deputy who went above and beyond to save a child's life.
But next, quiet weather as we head through the next couple of days. We'll have a chance at some warmer weather as well. I'll have the frosty details on a chilly night coming up next.